Somebody tell me, please, what is wrong with this offense? 215-592-9494. That's the phone number. This offense is a disgrace right now. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. They can't get timely hits. They can't get a hit from the fourth inning until the ninth inning. Whenever they do get somebody on third, they can't execute to produce a run. Their starter, poor Aaron Nola, you heard me, poor Aaron Nola, you know, he gives up one run, and then you go, oh, well, this is going to be like climbing Mount Everest to win this baseball game. When he gives up one, let alone when he walked in the second, you knew then and there it was all she wrote because this offense is so dead on a night-to-night basis without a pulse. You try and change your cleanup hitter. That does nothing. It makes your leadoff hitter significantly worse, and Bryson Stott doesn't deserve the most at-bats on this team. Sorry, that's just the truth. So what do we have here? We have a team of Alec Boehm who, watches strike three go right over the heart of the plate, or he's swinging at the first pitch and grounding out. But I got to hear, hey, he's making good contact, though. He's getting unlucky. I'll tell you where to put that. Come on, man. And then after that at-bat, I got to watch Brandon Marsh with a lazy rollover to second base on one pitch to continue his 0 for 20 streak. Unbelievable. No excuses. None. I don't care that they played late. I don't care that there was a long delay. I don't care that they had to fly to St. Louis. I don't care that the Braves also didn't win. They scored 3 runs. At least the Braves scored 3 runs. What would 3 runs do for you in this game? Win it. You got shut out. You had a goose egg. And when you actually had a chance in the 9th down 2, when Trey Turner gets on with no outs, your top dogs did nothing. Bryce ground out. Kyle check swing. Nick flies out. What are we doing here? What do we have? What is this team? This isn't an overreaction to one game. I think this is a real problem with this group. It's been about their inefficiency offensively for a while now. As a group, years and years and years of data. Not 13 games worth, not just the start of this season, years of data now. The guys who they projected to take steps, well, Marsh is going the wrong way. Boehm's going the wrong way. Stott, I think he's a guy who can play really good defense. I think he's a guy offensively who's annoying to go up against. Yeah, he's willing to grind you down a bit, but he's a bottom half of your lineup guy. 7th, 8th. You know he's going to make you work. Maybe he's a 250 hitter, not 300. He's a 260 hitter, not 300. So all these expectations of these kids and these daycare players that were going to be a perfect marriage to the superstars, you're not getting that. And that was the way for this to be the perfect blend to work, was if it all molded together and there was structure through the whole lineup. It wasn't going to be top-heavy with Kyle, Bryce, and sometimes Nick, if he's not striking out 5 times in a game off the same pitch, and, Trey having a miracle home run against the Braves in the 9th that you didn't see coming. It's not going to be about that happening on a night-to-night basis while the rest of your lineup is incompetent. If that's the case, you're not good enough. And that's what this might be. And if that's the case, you're not good enough. And I didn't even get to the thin bullpen yet. It's a joke. Let's go to the phones. 215-592-9494. Would love to hear from you. And look, if you think I'm overreacting, I would love to hear your side of things. If you're also frustrated, I would love to hear your side of things too. But if you think I'm overreacting, I won't yell. I won't get angry with you. If anything, I could probably use it. I'm just being open and honest. Blood's boiling. I'm angry. I could probably be willing to take a couple of deep breaths and hear the other side out. I think that's probably good for the soul. So I'm just pointing that out. 215-592-9494. JB in Phoenixville, you're on WIP. Yo, JB.
Yo, Brodes, how's it going?
Good, man. What's going on?
Good. I'm down in Atlanta. I went to last night's game. I stayed through the whole rain out.
No way.
I shouldn't have, but I got a funny story about that game. I forget what inning it was, but I know Stott had the lead off, or he had a single. And it was Brandon Marsh, and I had my buddy with me who is not a baseball person, and I was like, honestly, worst case scenario, we got a double play coming up. Best case scenario, he strikes out. Lo and behold, double play, and then Schwarber hits a home run right after.
Yep.
And if he hit that home run with just Stott on base, I mean, we win that game probably.
Yeah, or better. Why can't I ask Brandon Marsh to get on first himself, so now it's first and second, and then we can have a 3-run bomb? God forbid I ask for a 3-run home run once in a blue moon.
Yeah, but I mean, so I feel like Marsh and Bohm are sort of like the obvious things to harp on in terms of the lineup.
Sure.
But I feel like Dave is not getting enough heat for his moves regarding the bullpen. I mean, he's getting heat, but not enough, I think. I mean, just looking at the moves, at the bullpen pieces that we moved off from last year. I mean, Sir Anthony and Gregory Soto are off to great starts in Baltimore. And, I mean, Jeff Hoffman, too.
That's a good point. Everyone brings up Hoffman. My only counter argument would be, and I don't have the same amount of medical information as Dave Dombrowski, but all I remember is Jeff Hoffman failed a couple of different teams' physicals in the offseason until Toronto finally decided to give him some money or whatever. So I could understand if there were medical reasons. If he's not passing a bunch of different teams' physicals, then I actually understand that maybe being a red flag for Hoffman. But to your point, there's still plenty of other things you could do to improve a bullpen. I just feel obligated to point that out, that he did not pass some physicals. So for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. I feel like if Hoffman's arm just falls off midseason, then you just go, okay, they saw something that was going to happen. But, I mean, if he goes the whole season and he's lights out, you really got to start to wonder if Dave Dombrowski is the guy.
Oh, I'm already wondering that for sure. And it's not that I think he's a stiff or he's a bum or anything like that, but I just thought he was more of a killer. I thought he had more of an urgency. I thought he had this desire of, I'm going to do anything to get John Middleton that trophy, just like we all know John Middleton is starving for it. But instead, he's almost saying, hey, John, you act like a fan. You know you're very passionate. You go sit down. Let me take care of it and be very poised, and we'll see if this thing works. Whereas I don't see that killer instinct to go make it happen, and I thought Dave was that.
Yeah, I just feel like every trade deadline, every off season. I mean, I think getting Trey was cool. I think in the long run we'll look back at the Trey signing and be happy about it. And even Castellanos, I think like it might be like long-term overpay, but I think he's been good. But yeah, I don't think he's really had that like bang signing or trade or anything like that.
I think Kyle and JB, thanks, man. I think Kyle's the home run. I think, unfortunately, while Nick's numbers are what they are, and he's had some things in right field, good plays in the playoffs, and this and that, overall, the deficiencies of Nick outweigh the positives. Those strikeouts, those horrible at-bats, those playoff strikeouts, swinging at the off-speed pitch, where pitchers don't even have to throw strikes. They don't have to throw strikes. It's the playoffs. They don't have to throw strikes. They don't even have to throw them. They don't have to throw them. They don't have to challenge you. At the end of the day, that's going to hurt anything Nick Castellanos does positively. It'll never outweigh the positives. Or no, hold on. Did I say that backwards? I'm trying to say the negatives will always outweigh the positives, if that makes sense. So Nick will never be a thumbs up. The Trey thing, maybe he'll be serviceable by the end, but that contract is massive. He has a long way to go to prove that that contract is worthy. So right now, it's a thumbs down. Nick is a thumbs down. Kyle, and the extensions, well, these guys were here when he came. Wheeler, Nola. I'll give him a thumbs up for Luzardo. So Luzardo and Kyle. But thumbs down, keeping Bohm. Thumbs down, not making any coaching changes when I need urgency from my team, keeping Kevin Long when the offense has been a problem year after year after year, thinking that him staying was what? Going to change the philosophy? Because it's not. I was told he was going to stay here because Juan Soto would come here. And I said, fine, then I better see a Juan Soto contract and him playing outfield. There's a fix for your damn outfield, Juan Soto. Instead, we got Max Kepler. So the only way Kevin Long could stay here, in my opinion, was if that brought in Juan Soto. Newsflash, it didn't. He went to your biggest rival, by the way, who may actually win the division this year instead of you. So, no doubt about it, Dave Dombrowski has been a big 2 thumbs down since coming here. Big thumbs down. He doesn't have killer. I need killer. It's unbelievable. Let's go to Garrett in North Carolina. Yo, Garrett.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
No. Hold on. Let me ask you, what's Dave's imperative from John Middleton? What did Middleton say? He wants to have a great team and stay great, make people write about his time as the owner. And that's what he told Dave to do. Dave's not going to dump all these prospects that everybody says are going to be great and, in favor of a short-term success. He's got to do what Middleton asked him, right?
Well, I don't know, because I remember reading a piece on the Inquirer last year of John Middleton saying you have to strike when the iron is hot and you got to push forward and you can't just sit there and accept some of the stuff that was happening last year and I needed more urgency. And this was all coming from the owner. I don't think the owner's thrilled. I think the owner's pretty pissed off.
No, definitely. But, this is going to be a good team. They're going to start playing good, just like they usually do. They're going to finish with 93 wins.
Okay.
Doing the same thing that they did before, and when it catches up to them, that's going to be what matters. Is it going to catch up to them in the middle of the season, and then they start playing well again, and they win the World Series, or is it going to happen in the playoffs?
Right. So, Garrett, let me ask you this, because it does seem like you have some more optimism than I do, and I want to hear that side of it. I do. I don't want to just act as if there is nothing here, but I guess my question would be, if I asked you, not so much are they going to win 93 games, regular season success, do you think that they have a winning formula that they can win the whole thing in the playoffs if it clicks? Or do you think that they don't have winning formula DNA in this group?
So I probably misrepresented. I'm not really optimistic, but, you got to kind of see it for what it is. They say they want to win, but they're not doing the winning stuff. And I've said it before, not here, and it doesn't usually get received well, but, with Topper, he could move Bohm down and keep his mouth shut and ask him nice to start hitting. And the guys say they like him, but should there be a little fear, like with Charlie, he wasn't afraid to do what it took.
Right.
And the guys loved him and respected him. And I think they say they do with Top, but he's just going to sit there and say the same stuff. Oh, yeah, his stuff was good.
Yeah, I don't think that's unfair, Garrett. I think there's something to what you're saying, and I appreciate your phone call. I apologize if I misunderstood maybe the beginning part of the call, but I'll say this about the Topper thing. He was a bench guy for a long time. He got the nod with the Phillies when the whole Joe Girardi thing happened, and he went on a crazy ride. He's been around baseball a while. I think, and I get it, if you're trying to maximize a roster now to go win, you don't have time to learn on the job. But I do think this year, so far, Rob Thompson has clearly shown signs of growth from where he was previously with the, all right, well, I trust my guys and we'll see how this goes and I believe in them and I think they'll be okay and they're too good to be this bad and I have faith. And he used to ride that all through the summer. At this point, I've already seen him change 7 things that he would have never changed last year. Even moving Bowman to 7th, he would have kept him at cleanup. He would have kept him at cleanup. He would have been stubborn. He would have stick to his guns. He would have dug his feet into the mud. He would have never changed ever, ever, ever. And he would have stayed right there with Bowman until July. But instead, a day later, he's making a move. 1 day later, Kyle Schwarber is now batting cleanup. 2 lefties in a row and 3 lefties in your first 4 hitters with Bryson Stott batting leadoff. The second Nick Castellanos strikes out 5 times in 1 game. He wouldn't have done that in years past. So I guess my point is, I do think that Rob Thompson is improving as a manager year to year, and he has learned a lot about some of the failures that he has had. But I guess the follow-up question would be, do we have the patience right now to watch a manager grow underneath of our eyes? Or is this about going to win a championship now and having a manager that knows already how to do this? Because I can make the argument that this isn't the time to have a manager learning on the job. This is the time to maximize Bryce, Trey, Kyle. We have to go win a championship. But I don't know if a manager with more urgency, for example, if Brian Snitker was the manager, right? He's got a little bit more toughness, well-respected manager, but Bohm stinks, and Marsh stinks, and Stott's just a guy, and Nick strikes out all the time. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to win if you flip-flop managers, and this is the production that you're getting. And if Snitker would bench all these guys and then you get lineups of Cody Clemens and Mundo Sosa, Johan Rojas, I got news for you. You stink. You stink. So I don't know how much that's going to fully change anything, but I don't think it's unfair to look at Topper and wonder if he has everything aligned. At the same time, I think he's definitely growing in that process. I just don't know if that matters or not to anybody. Or should it? Or shouldn't it? I don't know. Let's go to Gary in Whitehall. Yo, Gary.
What's happening, bros? How you been, man?
Oh, you know what I mean?
I know. Yeah. This sucks. This sucks. And this all comes on one person only, and he doesn't suit up in a uniform and play the game. Dave Dombrowski. This is all on him. You have a very futile bench. You got a utility infielder. You have maybe a plug-in outfielder. Your backup catcher and a guy that rides the pine because he's never going to play because he's your backup first baseman. The bullpen's fine. I got no problem with the bullpen.
You will soon. You will soon.
Those hoppers burning them out. That's the problem. We have a great rotation, but we have no bats, especially right-handed bats, coming off that bench to give us any pop, any kind of help. And Topper, I'll give him one credit for last night's game, having given some protection to Harper by having Schwarber behind him. About time he wakes up and gives that guy some protection. I like that move. I hope it stays like that. But that's the only credit they get because this is futile. See the ball, hit the ball. How freaking simple is that?
It's a great point. Now, I am a little disappointed in you, Gare.
Why is that?
Because I think you have too much faith in this bullpen.
I do in a sense, but they're going to get burned up by the end of May. That's the problem.
But are they going to get burned up because they only have 2 guys that are actually reasonable, and Jose and Strom, and everybody else stinks?
Exactly. with Gumbo, he just got so reserved anymore compared to his MO. Sell the farm, bring in the chip now. Well, you keep talking about this farm system. Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, Andrew Painter, this and that. Well, am I ever going to see it? Or are we going to stick to the same old clique for the last 4 years that got us nothing?
Right. No, it's a great point. And I can't, Gary, I can't sit here, and thank you so much for calling in, and talk about Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford as if they're going to change the franchise. That was Bowman Stott. That was Bowman Stott. So until proven otherwise, I can't sit here and say, oh, Justin Crawford. And by the way, even if they do come in and create spark eventually, right? Because at some point, a prospect should hit. How long until they're winning pedigree? Because you don't just walk into the league and you're an elite superstar, unless you're the Bryce Harpers, that type of stuff. I hate to break it to you. Aiden Miller's not Bryce Harper. So even if they do pan out to be something, are they Stott? Who's fine? Are they elite winners? And if they are elite winners, how long does it take you to become an elite winner? I mean, if they're changing the franchise, as people mention, that's more than just being a piece. I can't have Justin Crawford come up and be a good defender who can't hit at an elite level, because at that point you have Johan Rojas. At that point, you just have a guy who can be okay at hitting and a good defender. No. You're telling me game-changing. That's a 300 hitter with elite defense. That's what Justin Crawford would have to be with the snap of the fingers to fit the timeline of this roster. Same with Aiden Miller, who, by the way, is stuck behind Bohm, Trey Turner, that side of the infield. People are putting way too much stock into this Miller stuff, okay? Andrew Painter, I get. But the prospect stuff, it's Bohm and Stott. Bohm stinks and Stott's fine. He's a good defender. I like Stott. But Stott is a complementary piece. That's what you got to realize. Bryson Stott is a complementary piece. That's what he is. He's a piece of the pie. He's not a star. He's not a franchise changer. He's a solid guy to have on your team. That wasn't the expectation. Let's go to John in Hazleton. Yo, John.
There's a lot to get into with this team.
I know.
In the beginning, the stupid money thing, he gave Dombrowski all this money to build the team. Problem is, the stupid money wasn't spent wise. I mean, you think about it. This year alone, between Castellanos and Walker, there's $38 million. Now, you think about this. Everyone thinks they're going to get better next year. They're going to re-sign. Excuse me. They're going to re-sign. Come on.
JT?
Not JT.
Kyle?
I don't know why.
Are you anti re-signing Kyle?
No, I'm fine with re-signing
Yeah,
Kyle.
me too. He's like the only one I could understand.
But my point to that is, you're not getting him for $19-something million a year. They're going to have to pay him, I'm figuring, at least 3 years, 4 years, $25-30 million per, right?
I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll tell you what, there's going to be interest because this dude just mashes and he's not stopping or slowing down anytime soon. So your point of his prices going up is a fair estimate.
And so how much more are you going to be able to add plus him? Because you want to keep him, they're going to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you drop JT and you get another catcher, if I know them, they'll bring him back. I think they will bring him back. I want him or not.
I think they are too.
And here's another thing about it. Like, people are saying, Dombrowski, and I think Dombrowski's done a bad job, but I think Middleton's in his ear. Like, listen, we're never doing 2012 to 2020 again. I'm not going through that because the stadium was empty. People were losing interest. So he's not allowed. I don't think he's allowed to move some of these prospects to go all in for a World Series because I don't think Middleton wants that. Because at the end of the day, Middleton's a Philly guy, a sports fan and all that stuff, but he's a business owner.
Yeah.
And he knows if the team stinks for 7-8 years, people won't come.
All right, I can't rule that out, and I actually think there might be truth to that. But let me play the other side just because. If that is the case, and John says we need to keep ourselves relevant so we never get down in the dumps where there's 7 people here. If the team is this, then do you think that even if they have high caliber players and big names and all, but we are so sour on them, will it eventually be the same as a bad squad anyway, if that makes sense? Do you know what I mean?
What I would say to that is, as long as they're decent, as long as they're good and competitive, the stadium will never be 16,000.
That's true. People will bring their families for a night out and just to watch. And
there'll be interest, because you got to do something while you're waiting for the Eagles. And one more thing before you cut me.
Sure.
With Dombrowski. You know that Bohm is a mental midget. If you were going to shop him in the offseason, you had to get rid of him. You had to, and bring somebody else in there to play third base. I don't know who it was going to be, but you couldn't bring him back after that all winter because we don't. In my opinion, it's in the back of his mind, and it's why he's struggling already because he doesn't usually start out this bad.
Yeah, John, honestly, I can't disagree with anything you said tonight. And thank you. I always appreciate hearing from you, even if we don't always agree. But, yeah, I don't think that there's a bad piece of logic on that one. He's just not a strong-minded guy. He's not a block out the noise, I'm not paying attention guy. This organization very openly said, we really don't want you, and we benched you in the NLDS. You're not doing it here. You're not cutting it. And they brought him back. So I agree. I think that's just a horrible idea, and I don't know what world they thought that could actually be a reasonable option. So they miscalculated and they misjudged big time. I can't agree more. 215-592-9494. That's the phone number. We will continue rocking all of your phone calls. If you want to vent, let's do it. If you want to preach optimism, let's hear it. Question mark? Let's hear it. Maybe, if you want. And also, coming up next, I will tell you a little bit about Andrew Painter's debut because there is something maybe at the end of the tunnel. Maybe with Andrew Painter. It's Brodes, it's you, it's 94 WIP.